Hey everyone, and welcome to the My Ray of Sunshine podcast. My name is Mayra, and I'm here to help you receive the advice you deserve. Now, if you all are here, it's probably because you want to know exactly how you can actually start enjoying adulthood. And yes, I never knew I would make an episode about this because initially, when I wanted to make an episode about adulthood, it was all about the negative aspects of growing up. Now, if you know something a little bit about me, you'll know or probably get the sense that I don't like growing up, okay? I freak out every time I get another year older. It freaks me out. I hate it. I hate growing up. I hate change. I hate... Even just talking about it gets me a little bit nervous because it's just such a different stage that you enter in your life every time you get another year older. However, what I didn't realize is that getting a year older makes you also a little bit wiser. So that's not always a bad thing. So a few tips that I have about how to actually start to enjoy adulthood would be to simply reflect. I think reflecting a lot on how far you have come is a great indicator of where you are right now in life. Are you happy where you are? Are you grateful? Gratitude is everything. Absolutely everything. And I even had an episode about this, about how can you be grateful in life, because it's just so important to count the little things, the little baby steps it took you to get to where you are now. And if you begin to reflect on how far you have come, then it won't be so bad continuing to grow up, continuing to embrace new challenges that adulthood gives you or brings your way. And I think that it's also such a beautiful thing to actually start seeing yourself tackle on these challenges and embrace them and also handle them very, very well. I think that you will learn so much about yourself by the things that you're doing in your life right now and the things that you will be doing in the future. I mean, you got to start somewhere. No one knows how to pay bills right away. No one knows how to schedule their own doctor's appointments or dentist appointments until you're actually forced to embrace those challenges, embrace it and do it, and, keep doing that for the rest of your life and even more. So I think it's more so just looking back how far you have come, looking back at how far you're going and everything that life has to offer, because you will be surprised. Everything that life throws at you will surprise you for sure, because you never know how you're going to react to it, but that's just a little bit better, I guess, is the uncertainty about how that will kind of shape you and shape who you are as a person and, most importantly, as an adult. And aside from reflecting, of course, is a lot of organization. Definitely being organized as I stare at my stack of folders that I still have yet to file, but for other reasons that you'll know. But I think that being organized is also a key to just kind of get your life figured out, okay? Whether that is figuring out your career, whether that is figuring out how you're going to pay for health insurance, for medical bills, all of that is a hassle to figure out, to say the least, but I think by getting organized, or by simply organizing your thoughts in a way to kind of piece things together step by step and seeing how you can take those baby steps to then accomplish that big step goes a long way. It's it can be overwhelming if you feel like everything is just happening all at once. And that's why sometimes maybe not getting organized physically, because right now my room is a mess as we speak, but maybe perhaps getting organized mentally, figuring things out in your own ways. Everyone has a different way of how they feel organized without actually being organized, like me. Although that is a plus too. It's a bonus to have a clean room, of course. But sometimes life happens. Things get thrown your way all the time. So that's why it can be a bit of a challenge. But I think as long as you know exactly what you're trying to go for, what you're trying to pursue, then that is everything that you need to know. That is a good start. And then you can try to start somewhere and try to, like I said, take those baby steps, inch your way into completing something great for yourself and figuring things out. And when in doubt, just ask it out. Literally asking your parents to kind of like mentor you, asking a family member, your siblings, your close friends, just kind of seeing how they tackled on those big challenges, those things that seem a bit scary to pursue yourself, but just to kind of see how they dealt with things, because everyone deals with change and different challenges way different than what you expect. Like, there's no linear way of doing things. There's no right way, there's no wrong way, as long as things do get done, okay? So getting organized is definitely key for this. And another way is to, I never thought I'd say this, but patience and just a little bit of faith in yourself goes a long way too. Because I think at times when things are so uncertain, at times when things just get so overwhelming, having patience with yourself that yes, you are growing, yes, you are learning how to do certain things on your own, how to embrace adulthood, embrace loans, everything. It's just a matter of figuring out, like, okay, I'm growing up, not everyone knew how to do this before. I certainly didn't know how to do this before, but I'm learning to get there. Just because you don't know how to do something right now doesn't mean that you won't learn how to do something or figure it out in the next coming week. Like, everything is so drastically different. And people really do need to start realizing that, like, you have to have the patience with yourself to tackle on those items. You have to have that goodness of your heart to just be like, okay, I may not know that how to tackle on these bills, but I'm going to figure it out. Whatever it is, I have to figure it out. And sometimes, unfortunately, you're forced to figuring things out because we're all still learning in this adulting world. But I think that that's what makes it so special, is to kind of figure things out as you go. I mean, we're all kind of winging it, right? Like, I certainly am. I know I try to get on top of everything and try to figure things out in my own way, in my own mental way of being organized. But I think a lot of it comes down to just having patience with myself and learning new things, being open-minded to take other people's advice, to see how they tackled on those things, and kind of, do how I would want to do something. Because everyone's advice is different. Like, that's what has helped them succeed in their life or tackle on that task in their life. But that's okay for you to just take that knowledge with you and make something of your own, because at the end of the day, whenever you tackle on a task, it'll be the way you want to and the way you would feel comfortable doing so. And, of course, you can always learn to improve, and you can always teach others while you're at it. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. So a few of the things that I have done embracing this adulthood is literally just, man, maybe like taking things one step at a time. One of the things that I absolutely hate and that stresses me out to this day is, having a long day of work and like having that like mentality of being still in work mode. I don't know if any of you feel that same way, but after work, I feel like I need maybe about a half hour of just relaxing, winding down mentally, because I feel like otherwise I'm like, I'm in an adrenaline rush. I feel like I'm still thinking about work, and it's not until like half an hour or so where I'm finally like, okay, I'm done work. I'm done doing what I needed to do for the day. I can unwind and not think about work anymore because I'm not doing it anymore. It's the end of the day. I don't have to worry about it until tomorrow. So I think a lot of it is also like me just being done work, then seeing that I have a bunch of mail. So I open up the envelopes. What do I see? Bills. Soon there'll be like a lot more bills. But a lot of what would stress me out is my medical bills. Like, it makes me so mad. Like, I literally opened one today, okay? I opened one today. I haven't even gone to the doctors as of recently. I haven't been to the doctors. Still getting the medical bills from like months ago. In this case, it would have been August. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, what now? I literally have not gone to the doctors. I have been to the dentist, but it's like, come on. Like, why another medical bill? And then the thing that stresses me out even more is when they send me a bill, but then at the top it says this is not a bill. So technically it's like, okay, this is how much your insurance covers. This is your deductible. This is how much you owe. And normally I don't freak out when it says like that I don't owe anything, because I'm like, okay, my doctor's visit months ago covers everything. Like, I'm good. But then what freaks me out is when there is an amount that I owe, and then I have to figure out, why didn't my insurance cover this? Or like, where's the gap? Where was the gap where my insurance wasn't taken into consideration? Now, it does depend on what kind of visit you have and whether it's a specialist visit and all that stuff. But it just stresses me out, like just seeing the bill and then knowing that I have to pay it off. And like sometimes things like your car insurance, that comes twice a year or maybe once a year for some people. Like, just random things like that just like throw me with the biggest curveballs. And I'm like, another thing I have to pay. It's another thing I have to worry about. And in the case of the medical bills, I feel like it took me like this summer to finally understand medical insurance, because sometimes it's just so much easier to just pick up the phone and ask like the medical insurance professional how and why and what the heck does this bill even mean? And they're very, very good at like dissecting it, piecing things together, making you understand it so that way you know where the money's coming from, what you have to do, how you can do that, how you can pay it off, and different things like that. It really helps in understanding that whole aspect. And trust me, you'll feel so much better once you get a better hold of, okay, I need to pay this amount for this visit because of XYZ. Like, it really helps. Something wise that my mom has always taught my sisters and I, is to fight for what we want and for what we are looking for, okay? And in an American saying, because she would always say this in Spanish, it would be, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And that one my boyfriend told me because I had no idea this was even a thing because I've always said it in Spanish. But basically, by the squeaky wheel getting the grease, it's pretty much showing you that, like, you have to sometimes go after what you want. If you're wanting information, pick up the phone, get that information. If you're wanting to request a refund, pick up the phone, get that refund. Like, you have to demand certain things because sometimes you're not always in the wrong. And by claiming something, especially if you feel like it's kind of out of the ordinary of you receiving a bill with something that should have been covered, pick up the phone and get that clarity and figure that out, because a lot of the times the issues can be on their end. And like, rather than you just paying off the bill, you have to like really fight to not pay it in a way. Like, that is something that I did, and I was able to get my refund, and I was so happy because I really didn't understand why I owed money for something that should have been covered. And a lot of the times, they just don't link up your insurance. So they like consider it, but then like the insurance doesn't get back to them, and like they don't hear back from the insurance, so they're billing you because they still need that money, when in reality it should be coming from your insurance all along in certain situations. But I was so happy when I got my refund in the mail because I knew that I fought for that refund. I knew that I was in the right. I was told exactly how the process was. I understood exactly what was happening. And then I was like, wait a second, I used my insurance. And they checked everything, like, in fact, showed that I was supposed to have insurance. It was a mistake on their end, and they gave me a refund for it, meaning it's saving me money versus me just seeing a bill, wondering why, being confused because it should have been covered, but then paying it off anyway. Like, that's just a lose-lose for me and a win for them, of course. But sometimes you just have to go out of your way to get what you want. You have to kind of step outside of your comfort zone and really try to understand something. And at the end of the day, you could learn something new, because that's what's happened to me. I mean, I've learned so many things about medical insurance alone this year that now I can take that information with me. And every visit, I'm a lot smarter about it, knowing exactly how the money is being handled. Is my insurance being taken into account? XYZ. So I highly recommend you to go after learning and just kind of forcing yourself to take that step and get information and pick up the phone and get that clarity. Fight for whatever you may need. Maybe you haven't needed to do any of this bill stuff, medical insurance stuff now, but trust me, it'll come, and hopefully you just feel more empowered to just go after what you want. Because I've seen so many positive changes come from that, and also learning and seeing how my mom does that too, and how she doesn't just pay for anything eyes closed, like, oh yes, unless of course it's like a recurring bill that she's aware of. But anything questionable, that's when you should question other people to give you more information. And then a lot of times it could be, oh, I forgot. I didn't realize I had to pay for this. Bam, you pay for it. But other times it could be their mistake as well. So, just saying, it's helped me, but that's kind of how my hate for adulting started was with medical bills. But on the flip side, I think once I started learning exactly the process and how I started feeling more comfortable being a part of a long waiting game of waiting for a representative to get on the phone so you can get your questions answered. Like, all of that takes time, I understand. And sometimes that's not the first thing that you want to do when you are on a lunch break. But sometimes that's what you have to do in order to just get answers. When I go on a phone and talk to someone because of a bill or a question, I have my list of questions, I have a piece of paper, and I'm ready. Like, I have the bill in front of me, I have whatever they need, even my insurance card in front of me, just so that way they can get me answers. And trust me, once they know that, like, at least you're aware of what's going on in terms of, like, the reason why you're calling, all of that, they're more than happy to help bring you that clarity and try to figure things out together. Because, I mean, the person on the other end of the line isn't the one getting your money. If that was the case, it would be their insurance. But a lot of it, they do understand that, you know, they also wouldn't want you to pay so much money for something that shouldn't have needed to come out of your pocket. So that's that. But I mean, I feel like aside from the hassle of adulting, the medical bills, medical insurance, just every kind of bill you can think of, and loans, you can't forget about loans. I think overall, if you kind of like see things in the bigger picture, I think they're good challenges to prepare you for the adulting world, because it can be really rewarding when you just find yourself actually like enjoying to pay something off because you know that you owe it, or having a better grip of what's happening behind the scenes, what their focus is on, like what the goal is for them, what the goal is for you, and how it kind of aligns. And also realizing that, like, your health is super important and should always be the priority, regardless of the cost, regardless of how much money it ends up costing you. It's important to just take that into consideration, because you only have one health, and even if that means that you just get a sense of clarity and that sense of relief that you're okay, or that you're taking medication for whatever it is you may need, then that's fine. Like, you need that peace of mind sometimes, and actually all the time, you need that peace of mind. And that's what a lot of adulting shows you, is that having the peace of mind is way more valuable and important than just scrambling and doing things although you're questioning them, and just really not understanding the full scope of it. And in doing all that chaos and dealing with all those challenges and all those annoying phone calls, I've learned that it's not so bad. It's really not so bad when you see the fruit of your labor. And that comes with working. You may bust your butt working all week, long hours, whatever the case may be, but then you see the fruit of your labor and it's like, wow, I worked so hard for this, and I'm grateful for this money. And I am grateful for having the opportunity to have a job. And, you know, it all comes back to reflecting all over again and just admiring what those mini challenges teaches you. And I feel like as of recently, adulting has taught me a lot in the sense of as much of a pain it is to learn everything and have life thrown at you in different angles and being challenged by so many things, like, you also get the chance of, actually growing up and actually enjoying looking for furniture, or like looking at potential apartment options, or like looking for a new car or anything like that. Like, my boyfriend and I are actually moving in together April 1st. And we are so excited for that journey together as a couple. I mean, we've been together for 7.5 years. I feel like I've always been dreaming of that moment of us living together. And now it's like around the corner. Like right around the corner. As soon as my boyfriend and I realized that we were going to be moving in together, we created a spreadsheet. We made a list of everything we might need. We had our list of potential apartments to look into. Everything. And that was well in anticipation for before we knew when exactly we wanted to move in together. And I think that really helped facilitate absolutely everything, because closer to the time frame that we wanted to move in together, we already had a much clearer picture in our heads of what we wanted, of where we wanted to go, and everything that fell in between that. So it was perfect. We kind of bought small things here and there leading up to that to be more prepared and proactive. And as of recently, we actually finally contacted the leasing manager and kind of told her exactly what we were looking for, and everything else that happened after that kind of just made things fall into a much better place. And now we have a place of our own. Not right now, I should say. April 1st, April Fool's Day. But I think that it has helped us a lot kind of ease the stress a little bit, because I feel like if we were to put off searching for furniture, searching for all the little things that we may need, until the very last minute of come March, like that would make us so stressed out, because with the shortages and everything going on right now because of COVID, like you can't expect to get a couch until 3 months out. And that's why we wanted to be as proactive as possible to at least have an idea, to at least get all that processed. And then once it's ready, we have the option to pick it up whenever we're ready. So it's just a matter of like being patient. That's the most important part. But also being proactive and taking things one step at a time, and being patient with yourself that we're not going to have all the answers. And yet again, also enjoying this new change that we're both stepping into. Enjoying the fact that, wow, we've dreamt of this moment. We've been talking about this since forever, about moving in together. Now that it's right around the corner, now that we have a date, it's like more real. And then it's like, wow, we're growing together. And that's how it really feels like. I mean, we started dating right out of high school, and now we're like experiencing every milestone together, which is so beautiful. And also, like, it just makes us a much stronger couple, just because we feel like we've had so much experience. And though change can be scary to embrace like that, it's less scary knowing that we have each other going through it, and that we have each other's backs through it all, through all the chaos, through all the, stress of like buying certain things and looking for furniture, looking at what else we need from our list. We're figuring that out together, and I don't have to worry about it alone. And that's the best part. Thank goodness. But I mean, it makes me enjoy adulting, because it's like, wow. I mean, this whole time I've thought, adulting was a negative thing. Adulting was just, something that we were thrown into, which is true. We do get thrown into a lot of obstacles. But then, just like there are obstacles, there's also so many beautiful things that become of it. And there are so many opportunities for you to continue just enjoying life the way that you have always wanted to. And at the same time, reflecting how far you have come and not forgetting about, like your family that has helped you get there. Because I really do think that like my boyfriend's family and my family, like we have such strong foundations with our own families, and together as a couple has been even stronger of a foundation that like we know that no matter what comes our way, we'll be able to handle it not only together, but with the support of our family, which is extremely important to us. And I do think that it's helped me see life a completely different way. Like, I think growing up has also taught me that, like, yes, we get older. Yes, we're forced to get a little bit wiser, just a little bit. And yes, we can also enjoy life the way we want it to be, and also realize, like, wow, this is what my mom has gone through, like this is what like his mom has gone through doing this, like moving out for the first time. You just have a different outlook of life, and you feel like you have this sort of appreciation for absolutely everything that surrounds you, because A, everything costs money, B, nothing is cheap, and C, like, everyone has worked so hard for what they have. And the instance that, like, I keep getting thrown back to is one time my sister we always go over her house, but this one specific time she had a housewarming party with my family, and we were all gathered, whatever. And my grandma spilled wine all over, like a chair, and I think it was a carpet too. The carpet, the chair, and wine is hard to get off because it stains. I mean, it's red. And in that moment, I didn't think too much of it. I was just like, oh my gosh, my grandma, here she is, clumsy as can be, and like stain the chair and the carpet, like hopefully it gets off. But now looking back at that specific moment, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that is my sister's house. Like my sister and her husband have busted their butts working hard for this house, busted their butts like for everything that they own in that house, but especially that chair that was stained, And it's like, oh my gosh, what the heck? I now see it as like a lot more important than just, oh, grandma, just shrugging it off, laughing it off. But no, I mean, it's just, you just see this different outlook once you have more responsibilities. I mean, even like me working, when I first worked at Walmart for the very first time, it was my first job out of high school. I was a cashier, the happiest cashier as could be. I did love, I shouldn't say love, but I did enjoy what I was doing. I liked talking to people a lot, so I was in my jam for like out of high school and like, having a part-time job. Like I was in my jam because I had that flexibility to work and go to school, and that was what was really important to me. But like I feel like also once I started working, I'm just like, okay, now I'm saving my money, now I can enjoy my money, and now I can continue saving my money. And then it's like, wow, now I have money. What the heck? And it's that realization, like that reality check of, oh my gosh, you have money now. After all these years of you being little and wanting to buy the toy that you wanted, now you have the money to do it. And then it's also like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to spoil my mom, but I have never been able to because I didn't have a job. And now that I have money, I can do that. So like, there are also so many bright sides of adulting, is just realizing like, yes, now you not only work hard for your money, but you can spend your money how you want. And you can also spoil the ones that you love. And you can choose to make your life so much better with the money that you have and the abundance that you have. Like, you just get that whole sense of like wanting to give back, wanting to do something that's not just for you, that is for someone else. And that's what I feel every time around Christmas time, where it's like, man, now I get to like spoil the people that I love, because it's like, I love them and I can do it, so I will do that. And it's just really nice being able to have that opportunity and not seeing it as, oh my gosh, I'm spending my money, it's just going to the trash, but more so seeing it as, wow, I have the ability to do this, and I'm grateful that I have this chance to do this, and I'm excited to spoil those that I love, and I'm excited to just move forward with that purchase. Or, you know, it's little things like that where you realize like, wow, I did that. And I know I'm going on a tangent here. I mean, it is a podcast, but I just feel so grateful for every person that is in my life that I love so much. Friends, family, my boyfriend, my boyfriend's family. I mean, I just consider them my family, so I just categorize them into one. But it's just really, really amazing to see how adulthood can turn out and work out for you. And yes, it can be scary as soon as you start getting new responsibilities. And yes, you have to figure out a lot of things along the way. But aren't we all? Like, this is a learning journey for everyone. And I think that it's also, as scary as it can be so exciting, because there are so many amazing things that can become of it. And I'm grateful. Like, I just can't help but feel grateful in my heart, knowing that like everything is just working itself out, and it all takes time, but it eventually comes together to how you wanted it to be all along. And you know when your timing is. Like, you know when is the right time to buy that car or move out or, you know, have a big commitment. Like, you know when it's that right time, because it just feels right. It feels easy. And not that the journey of it will be easy, but I mean, sometimes it's nice to just be uncertain of a lot of things and figure things out along the way. That's okay too. I really hope this podcast made you smile at least once. Stay tuned for more advice and positivity next Friday. As always, it's Mayra. I hope that you really took so many great things about adulthood with you. And I also hope that you related to a few of the struggles along the way as well. And like I said, just have patience with yourself. Don't be afraid of embracing that change. Face it head on. Pick up the phone, get the clarity that you need, that you've always wanted, and fight for what you want, because that is the biggest lesson I've learned, is fighting for what I wanted and also going for what I wanted. And like my sister's husband told my sister, was that I never take no for an answer. I just keep trying to get closer to what I'm looking for. And that's what I hope all of you can do as well, because trust me, you will look back and you'll be like, wow, I did that. Like, I am doing this. I am adulting and learning along the way with everyone else. You're not alone, I promise you. Bye!